Ladies and gentlemen, Dada Shang Wu Hao. Yeah, sorry, I will not commence in Chinese the entire speech. I'm happy to be here, and of course my people informed me that this is about to be a cool place. And cool places like this, I expected cool people to come, so I checked my wardrobe and made up my mind, how should I dress this morning? Of course, normally if people from the old industry, such as automotive, and are in the middle of the 50s, like me, they try to be either like Steve Jobs, so I checked with my black pullover, and I thought, is it really me? And imagine if I would even come up like Fang Deng this morning, right? Like in a blue or in a blue or red hoodie. I would say it's not authentic. And so I've chosen to come as you expect me to come, in a normal business dress, and also not totally free speech, but also with notes. So I will not disappoint you on your perception how old industry is about to behave. But I might be able to convince you that also old industry, and in particular Dajong Jituan, is about to change. And changing, of course, is a synonym for me for China. When I came first to China was 2004, and I've also brought my Danua, my elder daughter, today. And she was 6 years old when we came first time in 2004 to Shanghai, and about to enter the primary school. And in my first business here with Volkswagen, 2004, just to recall you, at the end, almost like now, December, we were all enthusiastic and celebrating because the Chinese automotive market was about to be close to 3 million cars total. And I said, great, now China is bigger than the United Kingdom, which is the second largest market in Europe. Nowadays, 15 years later, we alone sell more than 3 million cars. And the Chinese automotive market is, with about 21 to 22 million passenger vehicles, by far the biggest in the world. 15 years. 15 years from being happy to be bigger than the UK to 22 million, and our company at the forefront with 3 million Volkswagens and Audis and Skodas all together, more than 4 million cars. 15 years only. It's all about change in this country. And it's this 15 years is not only increasing the volume. The fascinating topic is, if you recall back 2004, it was all about combustion engine vehicles. Today, and I will come to this in a second, we talk about new energy vehicles. In about 2004, it was all about conventional engineering. Today, we talk about how to bring conventional engineering together with software engineering, and certainly also from a pure producer of automotives to become a mobility provider. So there is a lot of change which is driving us, a lot of changes that how we are driving the industry. And against this background, I met in November with Jack Chang. Yeah, and Jack, you know, we had about 1.5 hours discussion, and you know his guy. Yeah? He's giving you a damned hard time. He was challenging me a lot on whether what we are doing as a company is right or not. You had also a longer chat with our global CEO, Herbert Dies, a couple of weeks back in time, and said, okay, come to my Geek Part convention today and tell us how you, as an old industry leader, how you are about to deal with all these challenges. But I don't want to let you on stage without you answering me some questions, provoking me. And 3 of those questions I have brought today, and I'm willing to check and give a kind of reality check how this is going to be. So the first one is, of course, we are in the news now with our e-mobility offensive. And Jack said, are you really sure that this is about to happen? So what is our answer? It has to happen. This might now sound a bit pathetic to some of you, but Volkswagen Group is really determined to make a change. You know that this week the Global Climate Conference in Madrid came to an end, and to a certain extent it was once again one of these big disappointing rounds. But everybody is now really, let's say, clear that climate change is happening, and we have to do something about it. And Volkswagen Group globally, because we are together with Toyota the number one globally, we count for 1% of the carbon footprint globally. With all of the cars, hopefully many of you do drive one, are leaving. So you could say 1%, who cares? But if we do not care about our 1%, nobody else will do. So we are really determined in order to be carbon neutral by 2050. And carbon neutral by 2050 does not only mean sell only electric vehicles. This also means that we have to make sure that our factories run green and carbon neutral, our suppliers do so. We offer you as a customer a chance also to run your cars, hopefully ours, certainly, on a carbon neutral footprint. And we are doing this in big scale. Only this year, probably not many of you have witnessed this, we have brought 14 NEV models into the market, and next year we are putting, let's say, we are starting with our new generation of pure electric cars. We are building 2 factories in China, only for this, with an annual capacity of 600,000 units. We are going with our third joint venture in Anhui province. We are about to build another capacity. So all in all, just in some bold numbers, we will probably spend, including the product investment in the years to come, some 40 to 50 billion RMB into e-mobility. Jack was, of course, asking me, do you really believe that the battery electric vehicles will be the one and only choice? What about fuel cars and all this stuff? We said, Jack, battery electric vehicles is the future. This is about to happen for many reasons. It's fun to drive, first of all. It's damped economic. It's very efficient to do so. The infrastructure now, in particular in China, is about to be built. And the fuel cells, it's a nice topic, probably for commercial vehicles, but the energy efficiency is 2 to 3 times worse than on battery electric vehicles. Because you need primary energy to produce hydrogen, then you store the hydrogen, which costs energy, then you put the hydrogen in the car, then you convert it into electric energy in the car, and here we go. It's 2.5 to 3 times less efficient, and if you really want to bring down your footprint, you have to look for the most efficient way. So we are bold, we cannot fail, honestly speaking. If you put 40 to 50 billion RMB behind this belief, you have to make it happen. So we count on you, we count certainly on the Chinese government, because not like in the past that China is taking trends from global into China, making it happen. On electromobility, on connectivity, on automated driving, it's you, it's China, which is going to make it happen. And we are, Volkswagen, being here since 35 years, we are determined to make it happen together with you. So on the first challenge from Jack, I said, there is no other way around. Hopefully we do not fail, because this would be a bigger disaster than our diesel issue, yeah? But we are determined really to make it happen. The second topic, this is of course of much more interest of many of you, and I had just saw my dear colleague from Alibaba here on stage, and many of you are here representing startup companies and or dreaming becoming a startup company. The second challenge is, will not the IT industry, will not be the one successful startup eating your business away? Will you not be the loser of the future? Because it is them. Because it is more about software, it's more about innovation, it's more about new technology which makes the difference in the future. I have to disappoint you, will not be the case, and I will explain you in a minute why I strongly believe it is not the case. One of the most important topics compared to startup companies, a company producing cars that is driving people around, there is no tolerance for failure, right? And just to give you an idea, because you believe, yeah, on the software side, those damned old industry folks, they are not really prepared to do so. Have you ever thought, and I have to check now that I do not fool you with the wrong figures, in a car today, we have software already which counts for 100 million lines of code. And if we really move into the full connected, automated driving mode, we will have in the car more than 1 billion lines of software code. So if you compare this with other ones, we are even more complex than a fighter jet. And we are by far more complex in our cars in terms of software integration than any other of the new world products in this respect. And alongside this comes certainly also a big responsibility to deal with. And I call it a big when I was talking with my colleagues preparing for today, what this is meaning, and I came up with this idea of the ability trap that we are in. And the ability trap consists of 4 abilities. Let's start with the first one. First, it's about a company like Volkswagen. The first ability is the responsibility. Yeah, because we are a company which is now more than 60 years old. We employ more than 600,000 people around the globe, and a lot of people and their families are counting on us. So for us, there is no chance to play around. We cannot simply risk so many people, so many business, so many suppliers depending on us. The second topic I have already touched on, it's the reliability topic. We have no chance to fail. Yeah? Imagine you are driving on the Jincheng highway out to enjoy, let's say, a wonderful Sunday out there at the Great Wall and at 120 kilometers per hour, and then sometimes you realize that your automated driving system is malfunctioning and the system says, sorry, update available tomorrow. Yeah? And then with 120 kilometers an hour, if there's a mal error on your system, you'd hope you better not in the car. So there is no chance for failure. That doesn't mean that we are not upgrading our car, but the basic stuff needs to be right from the very first second we put our cars into your hands. The third topic is, and this is a big difference, and I have talked with Jack a lot about this, it's the profitability. A lot of startups create fantastic customer value, and I do not mention the business I have in mind. Jack knows them. But it is a difference whether you get from venture capitalists some money that you can burn. And the interesting topic is the cash burn rate. So how long can I continue doing what I want to do unless my investors giving me enough money to burn it down? This is not a concept like a public listed company as Volkswagen is allowed to do. We do not have investors that are saying, yeah, here you have 100 billion euros, please burn them. No, it is our obligation to come up with sound business cases. This sounds a bit conservative, this sounds a bit boring for some of you, but in the end, once again, if you have to pay 600,000 people, if you have to pay your invoices to your suppliers, you better, in the end, come up with a sound business plan. And certainly, and I mentioned this, the sustainability topic. We are 60 years old, and we want to be 100 years and older. Plus, when we are 100 years old, we want to do business on a planet which is still existing, which still gives a chance for people like you and me, my children and my grandchildren to live on. So we have a responsibility for our company, but we also have a responsibility for the society. Certainly, we have to become much faster, and we have to build on competences that we haven't built on yet. And so we are massively now increasing on our software competency. Yeah? Recall if I said we are heading in 5 to 6 years' time to a car that has more than 1 billion lines of software codes. You have two choices. You either leave it to suppliers, and I know that some of you are dreaming of becoming our core supplier, and I'm not saying you will not, but we also have to grow our competences alone. And we are just on the 1st of January 2020, we are forming a company with more than 10,000 employees to build software for our cars. And there will be a massive footprint here in China where we intend to have more than 3,000 to 4,000 people in this area. I'll come to this in a second. But we will certainly also engage much more than we have done in the past with partners. Also on this I will elaborate in a second at the end of my speech. The third challenge that was given to me to answer to and to reply to how do I deal with it was certainly, yeah, you're producing cars, but what about today? What about those mobility service providers? Building cars, selling them is old-fashioned. People do not want to buy a car. People want to simply book a ride. That's it. More comfortable, more easy, cheaper. My answer to this is, Jack, right, but there is not a black and white. It is both. Right? Take an example. Yesterday, my daughter arrived from Germany. Of course, we were out for dinner in Sanditun. And you know, who is there to go with his own car to Sanditun on a Saturday evening? Nobody. Right? Of course, some in Lamborghinis and Ferraris to show off. But if you simply are out only for dinner, you probably book a Didi. So we booked a Didi. But I came this morning with my car. Right? And if I go in the end of the week to Chungli for skiing, I will also go by my car. So there will be both. Many of you have cars. If you don't have a car, be honest, you still dream of having one. Right? It will be a combination of both. Building and owning and selling great cars, giving the people the chance to own a car, which has a lot to do also expressing themselves, will still go on. But at the same time, we should also confess that, of course, mobility solutions will go up. But to give you one final figure before I elaborate on the mobility ones is China today has a car density by 1,000 inhabitants of 139 cars only. 139 cars on 1,000 inhabitants. Germany, 562. US, total madness, 822. So China will never become like the US, but we expect that in China probably we will see a saturation at a level between 220 to 250. So this is almost the double as it is today. There is business to make by building and selling cars, but there is more and more so, of course, business on mobility. And we are cooperating, and here it's again about partnership. As you know, we are experimenting with Didi, we are also experimenting with Choji on GoFun, a relatively successful car-sharing company. We learn together a lot. We are also engaging into smart city projects. In our third home now in China, in Anhui province, in Hefei, we have a collaboration also with the government in order to work in a special zone about new mobility concepts, including automated driving. So we are really in for it, we go for it. So these were the three challenges. So the key question is, how do we as a big company from the old industry really deal with the dynamics, and how do we come to decisions? Is there a magic Volkswagen formula, an algorithm? Only to a certain extent. First of all, it is facts and figures matter. And you can believe me, great companies, big companies as us, we are fantastic on dealing with big numbers and crunching numbers and trying to get the right thing out. It doesn't really always help you to predict the future. But of course, you should never, if you have the chance to, you should never really left this aside. And some of the outcomes really show that this is giving you the right basis for decisions. Taken, for instance, the China-specific models that we have put into the market recent years. Take the Lavida, for instance. Many of you do know the Lavida best-selling model in China. This is China-only built on the experience that we got. The latest SUV we put into the market, the Tyron, also similar car. You will not find it anywhere else in the world. It is built in China for China. And this, of course, is based on the knowledge and the experience that we got from a lot of data analytics. The second topic is you do need a holistic view, and this was also mentioned in the previous speeches. Don't get fooled by simple trends. Don't get too panic, too fast, too easy. Be, to a certain extent, relaxed. Relaxed doesn't mean lazy, right? There's a big difference between being relaxed and being lazy or self-confident or too self-confident. You have to check on your surroundings, and you also have to look beyond the normal zone of comfort. For instance, our latest experiment, which we conducted, our Jetta brand, Probably many of you, hopefully many of you heard about it. We put the Jetta brand products into the market just in autumn this year. The car is already about to sell 40,000 units, more than 40,000 units this year. This car is specifically built, and this brand is built for first-time buyers in China in tier 3 to tier 5 cities. Yeah, it is not what we see today here in Beijing. It's not what we concentrate on in a city like Shanghai, where I was before. You have to look also that China is so complex. China is so manifold, yet you really have to look beyond your comfort zone in order to find new business opportunities. And the third topic, we marked it here with the X. What is the X behind? It is, we changed the X for the U, please. It is about the individual. It's about the entrepreneurial spirit that you do need. And what we have heard on my two speakers this morning is all about this entrepreneurial spirit. Yes, you talk a lot about giving the team a freedom to come up with ideas, to drive the ideas in an organization. It's all true, but in the end, it's always the individual, and sometimes one individual, not necessarily always the CEO or the president, but there has to be individuals who are there to make a brave decision. Brave decision does not necessarily mean always being first to market. I know you looking for the great startup idea. Your concept is about being first to market. In some cases, this is a winning formula. In some cases, it is also good to be a fast follower, because a fast follower has two advantages. He is getting a better idea what is going on, what trend is about to be stable, and if you have a chance, like us, to be big on scale, then you have a chance also to be a winner as a fast follower. And Volkswagen, in many cases, have been a successful company on fast following. So fast following can be a great concept, in particular for established companies. You have to be sure that you are not too late, but sometimes it's better to be not the very first one. But in some cases, I admit, you have to be really bold, really brave, and take the very first step. The very first step. We did so 35 years ago in China, when this delegation of Chinese ministers knocked on the factory doors and asked for a meeting with our CEO at that point of time. We could have said, you have no appointment. Please go away. They were on the way to go to Daimler, but they came to Volkswagen. We asked them to come in, and now 35 years later, we are deep-rooted in China. We sold more than 42 million cars. Was the right decision. What I mentioned in the beginning on the first challenge from Jack, e-mobility is another brave step. We are now putting so much money behind because we believe in it. Of course, we are not the innovator on e-mobility, but we are probably the ones who want to make it a new trend and to reach a tipping point where e-mobility is really becoming the new normal. A third topic is we are also now brave to take the decision. We want to become also a software company. Yeah? We build also a huge company with 10,000 of people who are doing software for us, for our business, for our cars. It's also a brave decision. Do not only rely on external forces, but do it also yourself and invest into this and hoping to make it happen. This doesn't mean that we do not need partnerships. We partner more than ever before, in particular with Chinese companies. I will not mention with whom we are talking to, but we are much more open for partnerships, but we are certainly also much more open to get you as young talents into our companies. So, and as my colleague from Alibaba has already done advertising on his company, we will do certainly the same for us. Yeah, we brought also some QR codes. So those of you who are interested to embark on this journey, making Volkswagen not only an automotive company, but also a software company, are invited now to scan it and to follow us and to embark on the journey with us. So being brave, as we try to be brave, I hope I could give you some insight how we from old school, still coming with speech cards, still coming in a business dress, but we are still under this old-fashioned surface, we are on the way of becoming a different company, being ready for tomorrow. And we want to stay on the #1 position for the next 35 years, definitely, in a world which is rapidly changing. Thanks for your time, thanks for your patience, enjoy your time.